Hello, good afternoon, guys. Hello, I hope you're all doing great. Happy Friday to everyone. Today we're going to be discussing a great topic. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to everyone that watches this live video when we are long gone. Today we're going to be talking about the fact that it's Friday and the fact that you can actually remove your conditions if you have them on your green card. All right, so guys, depending on how long you've been married, when you get your first green card, you're either going to be given a 2-year green card or a 10-year green card. Okay, so with a 2-year green card, it's usually given if you have been married for less than 2 years when you first receive your green card. Welcome. Drop me a comment. If you've been married for more than 2 years, when you get your green card, you're going to be given a 10-year green card outrightly. So when you receive your green card, depending on how long the green card is valid for, then you will decide if you need to remove the conditions or not. Sometimes the U.S.A makes mistakes, and so sometimes you realize that somebody should have been given a 10-year green card, but they are given a 2-year green card. So if that's the case, you need to, let them know that this is their error, and then they'll reissue a green card to you, with the correct validity, the correct period of validity. Okay. So guys, we're going to just briefly talk about the process, just the process. I have a very important consultation with a client in a few minutes. So we'll be here very, very shortly. Very briefly. We'll be here for a very short time. Okay, so when you file your green card, of course, your marriage-based green card, and you've been married for less than 2 years, once you get the approval, it's going to be for just a 2-year period. So if you've been married, let's say you just got married this January, you're a foreigner, you're from Ghana or Nigeria or Kenya or Sudan, and you're U.S. citizen, you have a spouse who is a U.S. citizen, or even your spouse is a green card holder. Okay, if your spouse is a green card holder or U.S. citizen, and because you were just married this year, once your green card is approved, you're going to be granted a 2-year green card. And that green card will be known as a conditional green card, because U.S.A is still not, they're still not too convinced that your marriage is genuine. They want to give you some more time. They want to test the waters. They want to give you 2 more years to see if you can put up the act, if it's an act that you're putting up. So if you are granted the 2-year card, it's known as a conditional green card, and you have to remove the conditions from the green card. If you fail to remove the conditions from your green card, you will become removable and deportable from the U.S. once the green card expires, because you would no longer have permission to be here in the U.S., so you'll be deported. You'll go through proceedings and then you'll be deported. So essentially, you just have to make sure that you file the removal of conditions always 90 days before the expiration if you're trying to file a joint petition. You also entitled to file a waiver, and under this waiver, it just means that usually what happens is that when you're filing the removal of conditions, you have to do it with your spouse. So you're petitioning the U.S.CIS, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, to remove the conditions or the qualifications from your green card. You want a free green card. You don't want your green card to have limitations, or to state that it's sort of conditional. And let's note that both the 10-year green card and the 2-year green card have the same benefits. The only difference, between a 2-year conditional green card and a 10-year permanent green card is the time frame. One is valid for 2 years, and you have to apply to remove the conditions to get the 10-year. But otherwise, you can work with both, drive with, I'm sorry, you can't drive with your green card, but yes, you can obtain a driver's license with both. You know, you can work, live regularly in the US, just as though you have a green card. Okay. So we're talking about the waiver. With the waiver, you will be allowed under certain circumstances to file without your spouse. So let's say your spouse, you got married 2 years ago, and your spouse has been abusing you and threatens you that, look, I'm going to have you deported. You're a foreigner, so I'm going to have you deported. And they're not willing to help you petition the government to say, look, take the conditions off of the green card of my spouse, then you can file a waiver. With a waiver, there's no time period. So with a waiver, you can file at any time to remove your conditions. Unlike the joint petition where you're trying to file the green card with your spouse, which has to be done within the 90-day period, the 90-day period before the expiration of your green card. Guys, drop your comments, come with your questions and drop your comments, and then we'll be reading some questions very soon if you have them. Okay, so if you want to file a waiver of a green card, you need to establish that if you are removed from the US, it's going to cause you extreme hardship. It will result in extreme hardship, and you need to also prove that so you can prove one of three things. The first is that if they remove you, you're going to face extreme hardship. Secondly, that you entered the marriage in good faith, but the marriage was terminated. Okay, that means your marriage ended, other than through death. So death is not part of this. If your spouse died here, then you don't need to file a waiver. Okay. Then the third thing is that the conditional permanent resident must have entered the marriage in good faith. So that's the third option. If you entered your marriage in good faith and your spouse is beating you or subjecting you to battery, then you can also file to request a waiver. So when you file to request a waiver, it simply means that you are asking them that, look, I know that the normal process is that I have to file with my spouse, with my husband, or with my wife. However, I'm requesting you to waive that requirement. I'm requesting you to actually just allow me to file by myself because my spouse is beating me up, or my spouse has divorced me, or I've divorced him, or whatever. So those are some of the conditions under which you can file a waiver. So with the I-751, you have two options. You are either filing jointly with your spouse, or you're filing independently by yourself by requesting a waiver. Okay. And basically, if you're filing a joint petition, you have to note that you need to prove the bona fides of your marriage. Again, it doesn't matter if you proved that the marriage was real in the initial application. You need to do this all over again, because by the time you are 2 years into your marriage, things are different. They need to see. Sometimes when people, let me tell you this, when you file a green card application and the initial green card application, what happens is a lot of the time some people are new into the marriage, and so they don't have a lot of bona fides. Okay, so if you just got married 3 months ago or even 2 days ago, you can file a green card if your marriage is even 2 days old, a marriage-based green card. By the time your marriage is 2 days old, you don't have a lot of bona fides. Okay, you may just have wedding pictures, honeymoon pictures, dating pictures, but when we talk about the bona fides of a marriage, we are looking for documentation, like you've bought property together, you have, let's say, 2 children together, you have life insurance listing both of you. Those are some of the bona fides. When you initially apply, you may not have all those very probative bona fides, and so your bona fides may be just lightweight. Okay, so when you are filing your removal of conditions, that's when you need to punch them and hit them in the face with heavyweight bona fides. So you just want to make sure you have, again, affidavits from family and friends who can attest to the fact that your marriage is genuine. You have more pictures. You have, if you have children together, birth certificates listing, the the person who the beneficiary of the petition as a parent, and listing the petitioner also as a parent. Okay, guys. So um just something to note: when you're doing your removal of conditions, you need to make sure you are proving that your marriage is real. That's essentially what they're asking you for. They don't want people to enter into marriage just to procure U.S. immigration benefits. All right. So, guys, I think we've done more than 10 minutes. I was really happy to come your way today. I'm hoping that I'll see you again very soon next week. Oh my goodness, I didn't share my I'm sorry. What did I do? I didn't share my office phone number. So that's the office line, 802-7800-564. I have a team of very friendly, sweet ladies waiting to assist you guys so that we can get started on your immigration journey. So guys, please call me if you need help, and we will be happy to assist you. Olamide Adebayo says, hello, beautiful attorney. Hello, Olamide. Happy that you joined in today. All right, guys. So if you need help with filing your I-751 or your removal of conditions, if you've been granted a 2-year green card, and sometimes even you need a strategy to actually remove the conditions from your green card because of your immigration history and because of certain things. I've dealt with this a lot of times. So please call me, and then let's see how best we can assist you to remove those conditions from your green card and get the 10-year green card that you deserve. I'll see you guys next week. I wish you a fabulous Friday, and please take care of yourselves. Bye.